Sit back, relax. Try to maintain your composure. You are about to become connected.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Connect Podcast, episode 19.
Episode 19!
And today,
19?
it's just Shaun and I, unfortunately.
Fortunately for you guys, unfortunately for... Is it
Me?
unfortunate? No, that's fine.
It's just Shaun and me rambling on again.
It's
Today we're going
it's
to...
lucky we got a lot to talk about.
Well, you know, we try and rack our brains for things, but today we decided that we might go over a few topics that relate to travel. And culture and all those types of things that are exciting.
And you know, like a lot of people have travelled, we're actually pretty good foundations to work off when it comes to travel and places around the world. I think Tess has been to lived extensively for 6 months in each time over in places like Amsterdam and South America, and I've certainly been over to Europe a couple of times and
Followed me a few times over there.
Met her over there and thought, what the fuck am I doing here again? The same people.
Can't help himself. You know?
So I mean, where do we get started? I think, do you want to start locally?
Well, okay.
Locally.
Let's say, how many countries have we been to? Like, I don't know, maybe like 20 or something like that. But Australia just never fails to.
Well, I mean, when you've got like, see, the thing is,
me.
I remember. Let me bring up that me and Tess went to Thailand, and we took some video, and then we came back and we watched a video a couple of years later, and me and Tess were basically going, oh, I can't believe this happened, and this was fucked, and this wasn't going right, and I can't believe this person. And we're like, fuck, the whole time we were there, we were just bagging the place out. And
Comparing it to Australia.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you've got a base like Australia, a foundation like Australia to relate everything to, it's very hard goals to reach, very hard marks to be able to compare, high standards
definitely.
To be able to compare other things too. And I think we'll.
But even if
we like, you know, let me get this out of the way. Thailand is actually my favourite country to go in the world. So you know, don't get me wrong when I'm going, like, you know,
no one's going to be offended, Shaun.
No. I just want them to know that, you know, like I said, Thai is my favourite country in the world. Just because we were bagging it out then doesn't mean I don't like it. But there was a certain set of things that happened that weren't really working.
Well, what I find funny about that video was like how it was so obvious that we were newbies at travelling at that stage, because you can see the sorts of things we comment on, the sort of things that bother us, or the sort of things we're surprised by, are just part of understanding that you're in another culture, and that the whole part of an enjoyment of it, being in another culture, is the difference in life there, and that's sort of what you marvel at, rather than sort of go, what the fuck's going on there, or, you know.
I think you've got like a few different aspects to work off when you're travelling now, but different people travel in different ways. Some people have a lot of money, they go over, do the 5-star thing, don't really get down and dirty in the culture, and don't really get, you know, and some people backpack, go around and just don't have a lot of money and can't spend a lot. Now, do whatever you want. I'm not judging either of those two things. But I think when you are doing it a bit more cheaply, like a lot of people our age probably do, that you've got a few aspects of your trip that you need to work off. Now, that's the value of what you're getting for your money. So depending what country you're in, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, like if you got a lot of money, you can do whatever you want wherever, and that's fine. But the value of what you're getting for your money decides what the sort of place is like.
Decides your experience. Yeah.
Decides your experience. But then again, on other hands, I really dislike the sort of person that goes to a place and comes back with admiration for everything that happened over there. I went, you know, that fucking is one of my pet hates.
Well.
Everyone's like, oh, I went to this fucking amazing
Everything's amazing.
I don't want to hear about your amazing time. I want to hear about your shit time.
There's this fucking lady on my tour in South America, my Intrepid tour, which was meant to go for 40 days, but I left halfway because I couldn't handle it. And we went, this fucking lady, okay, yeah, she's, you know, lovely and everything. She's nice, but she was one of those people. But this was ridiculous. Like, you would have been so... Yeah. Do you remember me bitching about this lady?
Yeah.
Everything was amazing. Everything was, like, just incredible. Even to the point where, like, it was ridiculous. We'd sometimes get to the point where we'd kind of just, like, wink each other, pay her out, and we'd say something like... You know, I remember we had dinner or something, and I think the pasta was undercooked, and Dan was like, "Oh, this pasta is really good," and then Pam was like, "Yes, it's divine, isn't it?" And we're like, "It's obviously not, because everybody knows it's not cooked properly." Yeah. And the same with an apple, and then like
my sister Fiona does that a bit too, you know. Continue. Sorry.
That's right. We're saying sorry. The fucking this apple came out. It was one of those dry apples, like powdery ones. And then originally she goes, "Oh, delicious apple." And then eventually, as the minutes wore on, she said, "Oh, this apple's not so good." And we were all like, "What?" Pam said something bad. And it was just like, but she managed to say something amazing about everything, like, and no matter how shit it was.
And my sister does that a little bit when I was over in Venice with her and Ireland and that. Sort of like, we're getting some Italy fucking, you know, if I'm going to go down the Italy road, like, I'm not too... I went over there when, it was about 8 months ago now, and, you know, they're in the middle of a recession. They're struggling. Well, the poor people struggle and the rich people are doing fucking real well. Like, it's still one of the richest cities to live in the world, you know, so the rich people are still flying, but, you know, you go out for a dinner or something and the wine is watered down. Like that's,
oh, really?
Yeah. The wine's watered down.
Wow. If you go to a cheaper place, can you?
No. If you go in the middle of Rome and pay top dollar, wine's watered down. The food is, and I know their culture is very basic, very, you know, plain, you know, good quality foods, but not a lot of them. So their pasta is like 3-ingredient egg.
Yeah.
And that, you know, but it's shit. It's actually not that good. I don't know if you're interested in that, if you like that. From what we're used to in Australia, from the different sorts of tastes, different sort of whatever. You go over there, and I was over there for, 2 weeks, for 1.5 weeks, 10 days, and I did not have one standout meal.
It's amazing, because I still haven't been to Italy, but my mum says the food there is just amazing. My mum's a foodie, and I love her cooking. She's, she knows what she's talking about. And she always says the best thing about it is the fact that everything is so simple and pure and amazing and everything.
I got that.
So you understand that? And like, the reason I want to go there and try pizza, I want to try a margarita pizza with local tomatoes.
I had a couple.
Really nice bread.
I had a couple, and don't get me wrong, whatever, they're good. They're good. You know, I'm not going to tell you that they're bad. They're good, but they're not like fucking something you can't get here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And something
again, going back to that.
I know.
There's like, out of every place I've been to, food-wise, everything, in Melbourne specifically, everything-wise, it is like a place where all the best from all around the world meets in this one spot in Melbourne. You can get everything here, and it's the best.
We're talking like Victoria Street, Vietnamese, fucking...
Lygon Street for Italian.
Lygon Street for Italian. We're talking like...
all the African food.
All African and
like Middle Eastern food.
St Kilda, modern Australian. You've got just...
You get shisha lounges. And,
you do. The only slight problem is the price at some of these places. But then again, some of the best places don't cost the most in Melbourne. That's the other thing. You know, some of the best Chinese restaurants around Chinatown in back streets, dirty alleyways. You go up there, the food is the best fucking shit.
If anyone hasn't had pho before, you really should have it. It's just so delicious.
Pho, yeah.
Pho, sorry.
Pho, yeah.
It's Vietnamese noodle soup, and there's lots of them in Melbourne now, but the main ones are all on Victoria Street, on Swanston Street, and there's one around the corner from our house on High Street in Prahran, but don't go there because they have enough customers. Always busy, and you go there and you have to wait 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's not a true pho experience. True pho experience is, that's what I like about
where you can look like shit and wear your pyjamas like we do.
And like, this is coming from someone who has managed a number of restaurants in their time, and, you know, I'm not the sort of person who needs to go down the road of someone waiting on me hand and foot when I go out. I like a friendly person. That's a positive, which sometimes you don't get at Fo. But I like a friendly...
You don't get any unfriendliness.
No, you don't get... You just get normality.
Very, efficient service.
But I like a friendly person, and I don't need the silver service. I don't need you to put a napkin on my lap. I'm an adult. I can do all that shit.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we wouldn't even be happy with emptying our own bowls.
Yeah, I would. If it was cheaper, I would empty my bowl and put it in the dishwasher. I just, I don't like that pretentious sort of thing, and I don't understand people who decide to go down that road to be able to get people to wait on them in such a manner. It just pisses me off a bit.
Definitely, but it is such a thing. You go out for dinner, you purchase a meal, and you're paying for that, but it is definitely the whole service industry, and the fact that a service industry exists just proves the point that people are actually purchasing self-esteem. That's why they do it. They go out there because they lack... There's something in them that they lack, which they find is made up when someone waits on them and makes them feel important. And that's so true.
It is true, yeah.
That's the only reason why someone comes over to you and is nice to you, sucks up to you, is all like that, because that you're supposed to be made to feel good by that. And so if you're the type of person who doesn't really get your kicks out of that kind of thing, then I'm not going to fucking pay for that. I'd rather go somewhere cheap where people are efficient and, friendly, whatever.
For instance, pho, you just get a bowl of noodle soup which fills you up big time. Costs $9. Okay, and it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. You can get it with veggie, you can get it with whatever you want. All your basic food groups, and meat and noodles and rice is all very good for you. And it costs $10. You're lucky, and then you get a drink on the side. $11? So it drinks at like $2, $3. It's like no frills, no tablecloth.
And keeping in mind, pho isn't the prettiest thing to eat in public.
It's not.
Sweating your ass off.
Sweating your ass,
dribbling down your face.
And it's fucking wall-to-wall people.
Yeah,
there's people everywhere. You have to sit on the same table as other people sometimes.
I wish I'd been...
and that's the other thing. It's like, how could you sit on a table as someone else... someone else what? From the human species? That eats and shits the same as me? I couldn't believe it, The other day I had to sit on the tram and there were no empty seats apart from next to someone I didn't know. I had to sit there because my legs were so sore after a long day at work.
Shut up.
So, I couldn't believe it, I go, fuck that, grow up.
That's what I love about Asia, eating food in Asia. Street food in Asia is the best thing in the world. That is why I would travel, to try that shit. It's amazing. I don't care how sick I'll get, I'll try everything. Everything.
She fucking does eat everything.
I will eat everything.
And she does. She doesn't get gastro as much as
I've got a pretty good stomach, but I have gotten sick a few times, but I deserved it and I knew what it was. But I love the way I got sick.
The worst time I got gastro was in France.
From a crepe?
From a crepe.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was so sick. I was like, I had to get doctors in the middle of the night to come and inject me because I couldn't keep water down in my ass. Inject me I was just to keep fluids in and
put me on the drip. Here's my fucking story. Okay, this is my worst story. Apart from getting in Turkey, that was really bad. That was from drinking the water, though.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't notice that we weren't. Obviously, we can't drink the water in Istanbul, but we couldn't. We were drinking it for ages. But no, what happened to me, I was in Cartagena, which is the hottest place I've ever been in my life, in Colombia. And I was eating street food, whatever, and I got sick. Zach and I both got sick. This guy I was traveling with. And we were in the process of trying to get to Cuba. So we had it took us 3 days to get to Cuba. And in those 3 days, we were violently ill the whole time. And it was so bad. So we ended up somehow finding a flight that had to go all the way back to Lima, which is across the other side of the continent of South America. And then back to Havana, which was actually only a 1 hour flight from where we were to start with in Cartagena. So it was stupid. So it took us 3 days. And the whole time we were really sick. And we ended up sleeping on the... Oh, we have to go to, Bogota first. Okay, so it was a 3-stop flight. In Bogota, we slept on the floor of the airport, overnight, while we were sick. And then we finally got to Lima, and then we didn't miss our flight, but we weren't allowed on because we forgot to get a visa of some description. I can't remember exact details, but it was ridiculous. So all while we were explaining to these people what's going on, trying to get help, and we were like, oh, excuse me, I just have to go vomit, but I'll be back in a moment to fix this, and it was just fucked. It was so bad.
That would have been awful.
And we finally get to Havana, and it was La Habana. and it was another world of its own.
Yeah.
That place is mental. Cuba.